You know, it's interesting. I was talking about coming down here. I said, I've had 3 tours here, and I told them that, you know, that I spent a lot of time in Fort Hood, but unfortunately, every time I was here at Fort Hood, I spent a lot of time other places. Well, Linda was here the whole time. And so when I came back the last time, I came without Linda, and I can't remember why she couldn't come, but I was counseled severely by probably 1,000 people why to bring Linda. So, you know, a lot of times people ask me, you know, what have you done to become a general? Well, I'll make a mistake once, but I will never make a mistake twice. And so I want you to know Linda is with me tonight, and I'm happy to see you. When I came back in 2008 from Iraq, when I was the Corps Commander, I realized that in reality, although I was back, I really was not the Corps Commander, because Linda was actually the Corps Commander, and she was running everything on the installation and had more contacts and relationships than I could have ever dreamed of having. So, but we're both so glad to be back here. And frankly, I'm overwhelmed by the turnout. It's so great to see so many people, and although I'm overwhelmed, I'm not surprised, because the one thing, I got to be careful. You know, I'm the Chief of Staff of the Army now, so I got to be fair, and I got to, you know, but I make it very clear to everyone that there is no community like Central Texas, the greater Killeen area, and all those who are so dedicated to our soldiers and have been for many, many years. I've never seen a community like it. Many, many installations I served, and it's an honor that you're here. So I do have a few observations every time I come back. I gotta admit, you know, the traffic's getting pretty bad right now. You know, I used to say a good reason to come to Fort Hood was, you know, no traffic. There was a little traffic jam on the way out here from West Fort Hood today, but I think that's a good thing. The area is growing. My other observation is there's a lot more retired generals here. You know, so there's something going on right here. People want to stay, and I understand why, and so that's great. I also have noticed how Fort Hood continues to grow, and how it improves, and the work that the community is doing, and the local community, in building the highways and investing in the area around Fort Hood, so it's better for our soldiers and their families. I'm also always been very proud of that the work that started really caring about our children started here at Fort Hood. That now has become not only international, but multi-service. But the Military Child Education Coalition started right here, because people who were concerned about the many moves our children had to make and wanted to make sure that we do something to make it easier for them as they transition. And that's now really, everybody takes credit for it. It's like everything else, something successful, there's 1,000 people that will take credit for it. But it's this community who started that. It's this community who understood we had a problem and made sure that we came up with a solution. And I truly, truly appreciate that. As I travel around the world today, I get a chance, I'm very fortunate. I get an opportunity to travel over. I get an opportunity to go to Europe, I get a chance to go to Korea, I get a chance to go to Hawaii, I get a chance to visit places at Fort Hood, Fort Bragg, Fort Stewart, Fort Carson, name your installation. There's one constant that keeps me going every single day, and that's our young men and women. They are motivated, they want to do a good job, they are prepared to do what we ask them to do. They are dedicated professionals. But we owe it to them to make sure they have the tools to be successful. And so I know here there's a big voice, and I know you've been using that voice, and I appreciate that very much. But it's important for us to understand that we have to continue to talk about this. We are, I'm starting to see some movement, and I'm happy about that, but we still have a very long way to go in terms of understanding the importance of people understanding how we have to invest in defense. So as I sit here today, we have 140,000 soldiers in 150 different countries around the world, doing whatever we want them and ask them to do. And they're doing it at a level of capability that's not seen anywhere else. We have 9 out of our 10 division, parts of 9 out of 10 of our division headquarters deployed. Part of 1st Cavalry Division is deployed. We're doing advise and assist missions in Iraq, Afghanistan. We're reassuring our allies in Eastern Europe. We're rotating forces to reassure our allies in Korea. We have soldiers in Jordan. We have soldiers getting ready to begin to train the Syrian Free Army. We have soldiers in Turkey. We have soldiers all around the world, ensuring that we can maintain the freedoms and liberties that we so much enjoy every day here in the United States. And I'm very proud of them. I'm proud of what they do. I'm proud of who they represent. And so what I would tell you is an organization like this and a group of people, when they get together like this is important. It's important that people begin to understand what these young men and women are doing. I often tell everybody that the problem we have with the military is it's like an insurance policy. You know, whenever you go out and want to buy car insurance or house insurance, you always want to get the cheapest car insurance and house insurance possible, because you don't want to pay that money until you get in an accident. And then you wish, instead of having that $3,000 deductible, you had that $500 deductible, or that you had full coverage on your house. And that's what your military brings you. It's that protection. And you don't know you don't have it until you have to use it. And we've done that too many times in our nation's history. This has repeated itself time and time again. I recently went back and I reread a little bit about Task Force Smith, which is, for you who don't know what that is, that's a task force that deployed when the Korean War started. And frankly, they're overrun and slaughtered. But I went back and read about Task Force Smith. When I read about it, it gave me chills because it reminded me a lot of today. Task Force Smith was not led by people who didn't know what they were doing. 30% of that task force had World War II veterans, and the battalion commander was a highly decorated hero out of World War II. They knew what they were doing. But when they got to Korea, they did all the right things tactically, they put in the right position, but the soldiers simply were not trained. And they didn't have the equipment they needed. And so they were overrun, and many of them killed. We should not ever tolerate that happening again. Now, I'm not here to tell you we're close to that. We're not. But if we're not careful, we'll be headed in that direction. And so it's important for us to understand that.